In today's world, we live under strict rules that govern nearly every aspect of our lives. The slightest violation can lead to hefty fines and sometimes even arrest. You might be fined a month's salary for dropping a napkin in a park or driving at 22 mph down an empty dual carriageway at 3 a.m. While these extreme scenarios sound far-fetched, they reflect the increasingly regulated nature of our society. However, despite these stringent laws, there is one area of life where the rules are surprisingly sparse: relationships. In romantic relationships, there is no law to dictate how we should act, and unless there is violence or extreme abuse involved, we are free to navigate our relationships however we see fit. It's easy to take advantage of this freedom, which is why many of us stay in relationships that no longer work, all while making excuses and prolonging the inevitable. We might stay for years with someone, only to later find someone else and leave without warning. This leaves the other person devastated, often with no recourse to change their situation, and yet no legal action can be taken against us for this behavior. But while there may not be legal consequences for ending a relationship, moral consequences are another matter. Ending a relationship is one of the most painful experiences a person can endure, and treating the person we're leaving with dignity is important. There are unwritten rules in relationships, codes of conduct that guide us on how to handle breakups. These rules help minimize unnecessary emotional harm and ensure that both people can move on as smoothly as possible. In this article, we'll explore the 8 most important rules to follow when ending a relationship. These rules aren't just about ending things with someone. They're about doing so in a way that respects the other person's dignity, emotions, and future. While breakups are always painful, following these guidelines can help make the process more humane for both people involved. Rule 1. Hurt them, but don't steal any more of their time. Ending a relationship is never easy, and often it feels like we're causing harm by ending things. But what's more harmful is delaying the inevitable. The first moment you realize the relationship isn't working, you should tell your partner. Don't wait for a special occasion, like the end of a holiday or the next year. The moment you know it's over, that's the moment to end it. The longer you wait, the more you rob the other person of their future. It's cruel to keep someone in a relationship that no longer serves them, especially when they might be looking forward to a future that is now impossible. It's tempting to drag things out, to hope that somehow time will make things easier. But all this does is cause more pain for both parties. The more you hold on, the more you're stealing from the other person. Time is a precious commodity, and when you don't act immediately, you prevent them from moving forward with their life. By not facing the truth quickly, you also make it harder for yourself. Being honest and direct is the least harmful path, and it's the only way to treat your partner with the respect they deserve. Rule 2. Love them immeasurably, or leave. If you're not completely in love with your partner, it's not fair to continue the relationship. A half-hearted commitment isn't enough, and staying in a relationship where you feel no real affection is harmful to both parties. If you suspect you could do better, it's time to act on that suspicion. But be honest with yourself. If you're not fully invested, then it's better to let go and give both of you a chance at a more fulfilling life. What you consider to be plan B might be someone else's plan A. The key here is to love deeply or not at all. If you're in a relationship, give it your all. Don't hold on to something out of fear of change or because you're afraid of being alone. You owe it to yourself and your partner to be fully invested in the relationship. If you can't give them your heart, then let them find someone who can. Relationships are about mutual respect and commitment. And if you don't feel it, don't waste any more time. Rule 3. Unfaithful thoughts may arise, but don't act on them. It's normal to have thoughts about other people in a long-term relationship. We are all human, and our feelings can shift over time. However, what separates a committed partner from someone who is emotionally detached is the ability to resist acting on those feelings. Thoughts themselves aren't the problem. It's whether or not we act on them. If you start to entertain the idea of being with someone else, this could be a sign that your current relationship is no longer fulfilling. Instead of acting on those feelings and betraying your partner, it's better to face the truth and end the relationship first. Infidelity, whether emotional or physical, only makes the situation worse. It adds unnecessary layers of pain and betrayal to an already difficult process. By ending things before stepping into a new relationship, you respect your partner and avoid causing more harm. Rule 4. Don't make them end the relationship for you. One of the most cowardly things you can do in a breakup is make your partner the one to pull the trigger. Instead of directly addressing your dissatisfaction and ending things, some people will let their partner gradually realize that things aren't working out, hoping they'll be the one to end the relationship. This is not only unfair, but it also manipulates the other person into taking responsibility for the breakup. If you want to leave, then you need to be the one to end it. Don't hint at it, don't play games, and don't leave them hanging in confusion. The person you're breaking up with deserves clarity and closure. By taking responsibility and being honest, you give them the respect they deserve, and you don't leave them wondering whether it was their fault. Rule 5. Give a coherent explanation, not vague excuses. Leaving without an explanation is one of the most harmful things you can do to your partner. They will be left in a state of confusion, wondering where they went wrong and questioning their own behavior. It's a painful process when there's no clarity, and it can lead them to replay every moment of the relationship, overanalyzing everything in an attempt to understand what happened. Worse, they may believe that it's just a temporary mistake and hold on to hope, expecting you to return. Instead of leaving them in this emotional turmoil, offer a clear and honest explanation for why the relationship isn't working. This doesn't mean you need to list every flaw or make them feel bad about themselves. It simply means being honest and providing them with a reason that makes sense, whether it's a difference in values, personal growth, or just the realization that you've grown apart. Give them a reason they can understand. Offering a coherent explanation helps them gain closure and prevents them from spending countless hours wondering what went wrong. If you are mature enough to enter a relationship, you are mature enough to end it properly. You owe it to your partner to be clear and honest about your feelings. A direct and honest explanation may hurt, but it will be far less painful than leaving them to wander in the dark. Rule 6. Stop trying to be nice. It's normal to want to maintain your image or avoid being seen as the bad guy after a breakup. However, trying too hard to be nice during this emotional time can actually cause more harm. It's okay if your partner dislikes you for a while after the breakup. They need time to process their feelings, and part of that process involves experiencing a range of emotions, including anger and resentment. If you try to make them feel better too soon, you may only prolong their healing process and confuse them further. Sometimes, the most compassionate thing you can do is give them the space to feel their emotions, even if it means they are angry with you. They need the chance to work through their feelings of betrayal, hurt, and sadness in their own way. Don't try to fix everything or rush the healing process. You might be tempted to stay friends or try to maintain a positive relationship, but that can just confuse both of you and prevent emotional closure. Let them feel the anger or frustration they need to feel. By doing so, you're giving them permission to let go of any false hope and allowing them to start healing in a healthy way. The goal is not to be liked, but to allow your partner the space and time they need to recover. Rule 7. Get out of their way. After a breakup, your ex needs space to rebuild their life. Don't linger in their life or make them question where they stand. If you continue to contact them with small gestures of kindness or affection, it may be misinterpreted as a sign that the relationship isn't really over. Even if your intentions are good, every kind message or thoughtful gesture can be seen as a glimmer of hope, making it harder for them to move on. Let them have the emotional space to heal. This doesn't mean you have to completely cut them off, but it's important to respect their need for distance. By continuing to interact with them in a way that may be misinterpreted, you are keeping them emotionally tied to the past. It is far better to step back and allow them to heal independently. They need to find their own way forward, and that can't happen if you're still present in their life. While it might feel uncomfortable, you must give them the room to rebuild their own life. Don't make it harder for them by staying in touch in ways that cause emotional confusion. If they reach out, respond briefly and respectfully, but do not keep the emotional connection alive. Your absence will help them move on. Rule 8. Don't pretend there are no rules. There may not be a written rulebook for breakups, but moral decency is just as important. The tribunal of ordinary decency holds you accountable for how you treat others in their most vulnerable moments. Ending a relationship can be one of the most painful experiences for both people involved. How you treat your partner during this time will have a lasting impact on them and you. Although there might be no legal consequences for how you end a relationship, the moral consequences are undeniable. It is crucial to remember that this moment is not just about you. It is about both parties involved. Breakups can be messy and emotionally draining, but they don't have to be cruel. Treat your ex with respect and dignity, even if you no longer feel the same way about them. The rules of decency aren't just some vague notion. They guide us to act with empathy, compassion, and respect for others, even in difficult moments. When you end a relationship, do so with humanity. Don't hide behind the absence of laws to justify poor behavior. Treat your ex the way you would hope to be treated if you were in their shoes. These moments of vulnerability will define how both of you move forward and remember each other. Finally, when your turn comes, and it inevitably will, you'll want someone to treat you with the same respect, honesty, and dignity that you've given them. We all deserve the same level of kindness, especially when we are at our most vulnerable.